Let's talk about SSB and PBCH. So whenever we talk about PSS and SSS, we know that they are primary synchronization signal and secondary synchronization signal, where PSS is provided with the help of three sequences. So we have three possible sequences for PSS, and for SSS we have 336 possible sequences, right? And PSS is used for frequency and time acquisition of the SSB block by the user equipment. So with the help of PSS and SSS, the UE can read the or decode the PCI or physical cell ID, which can be identified by using an expression which is 3 times SSS plus PSS. So that gives us the total number of PCIs, which is 1008. So in LTE we had the number of PCIs as 512. In 5G we have the double number of PCIs, which is 1008 PCIs. Then we have the PBCS channel, which is physical broadcast channel, and it carries some part of the broadcast information, which is also known as minimum system information. So again, it is similar to the concept which we had in LTE, where PBCH carries some part of the broadcast information and the rest of the broadcast information was mapped onto PDSCH. So we have the similar concept over here. The information that PBCH carries is the SSB index, half frame number, and the system frame number. It is also used for slot and frame synchronization. The modulation used for PBCS channel is QPSK. Then we have also associated DMRS signal in order to estimate the condition of PBCH or channel estimation of PBCH. So PBCS symbol carries its own frequency multiplex DMRS. Channel coding used is polar coding. Okay. So now the SSB block or the synchronization signal block, it consists of PSS, SSS, PBCH as well as PBCH DMRS, right? So in the time domain, it occupies 4 OFDM symbols starting from 0 to 3. It is broadcasted periodically using a beamforming technique. And again, if you talk about the cell search procedure, so decoding the SSB block is the first step for the cell search in 5G. With respect to this, we have this table which has the different signals PSS, SSS, PBCH and DMRS. We also have the time domain position with respect to the symbols. Then also we have the frequency domain representation, or you can say the number of subcarriers that PSS, SSS, PBCH will occupy, right? So PSS is going to occupy symbol number 0, OFDM symbol number 0, and the subcarriers starting from 56 to 182. So a total of 240 subcarriers are used for the SSB block, out of which 56 to 182 subcarriers are used for PSS, similarly for SSS. And then we have PBCH. For PBCH, we have all the 4 symbols are carrying the information of PBCH. So let's take a look onto the picture. So here you have the picture in which we have 4 symbols 0, 1, 2, 3, and all the 4 symbols are carrying the SSB information. Symbol number 0 is carrying the information about the PSS, that is primary synchronization signal. Symbol number 1, 2 and 3 are carrying the information with respect to PBCH, and then we have also symbol number 2 carrying the information of secondary synchronization signal. So if you look here in the last picture, you have the PSS and SSS occupying 56 to 182 subcarriers in the frequency domain, and the symbol number is 0 and 2, so which you can see over here. If we talk about PBCH, it carries symbol number 1, 2 and 3, and for symbol number 1 and 3 it occupies all the 240 subcarriers. So 240 subcarriers means how many PRBs? So 240 divided by 12, and that will give you approximately 20 PRBs, or right here 20 RBs. So this is the frequency and time domain representation for the synchronization signal as well as PBCH. Now position of DMRS. So here you have the symbol number 3, and the position of DMRS is 1 out of the 4 REs. So if you look here, these are your 20 PRBs. Out of that, let me say that this is your third symbol. So it's third symbol, you have the number of subcarriers as 12, starting from 0 to 11. Then this is your PBCH information, and the blue color represents the DMRS. So the position of the DMRS can be calculated with the help of an expression which is N cell ID mod 4. So every fourth RE is going to be your DMRS in this particular symbol. So DMRS is nothing but it is similar to what we had in LTE. It is a gold sequence, which is again an orthogonal type of sequence. Then we have approximately eight possible DMRS sequences. Out of these, one particular sequence will be having the maximum SINR, and that will be kept by the user equipment. So 8 possible DMRS sequences are tried by the UE, and the one that maximizes the SINR estimation is kept by the user equipment. So the number of bits, so we are using polar coding of 32 bits of information, out of which 24 bits are produced by RRC and 8 bit is the timing information which is generated by the layer 1. For frequency range 2, it contains 3 MSB or more significant bits of the SSB index. Whenever we talk about SSB transmission pattern, it is going to depend upon the subcarrier spacing and the frequency band deployment. So here we already know that we have multiple numerology for the subcarriers. It can be 15 kilohertz, it can be 240 kilohertz. The position of the OFDM symbols is represented by 2,8 plus 14N for 15 kilohertz. If the frequency is less than 3 gigahertz, then N equals to 0 or 1. And if it is between 3 to 6, then N can be 0, 1, 2 or 3. Similarly, for 120 kilohertz, we are talking about 6 giga, frequency greater than 6 gigahertz. So N can be 0, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17. So putting those values of N into this particular expression, we will get the position of the OFDM symbol for SSB transmission. So let us take an example of subcarrier spacing of 30 kilohertz. So if we take an example of 30 kilohertz and put the value of N as 0, so the position of the OFDM symbols for SSB will be 4, 8, 16 and 20. So we have 4 over here, then we have 8, then 16 and then 20. Then taking this value as 1, we have 32, 36, 44 and 48. So these are the different position of the SSB block with respect to the subcarrier spacing as well as frequency. Okay, so if you look here, we have the SSB block in which we have 4 symbols, and these 4 symbols will be carrying the information about the PBCH, PSS, SSS. So this is your one SS block and this is your another SS block, and combining these 2 blocks we have an SS burst or synchronization signal burst. So we have 1, 2, 3 and 4 bursts over here. So now let's see the concept of burst in the next slide. So SSB burst is nothing but a set of consecutive SS blocks. So in 5G we have two SS blocks in one SS burst for the frequencies less than 6 gigahertz. So for frequency less than 6 gigahertz we have two SS blocks in one burst. If you are talking about frequencies greater than 6 gigahertz, then we have a combination of four SS blocks 0, 1, 2, 3 in a single burst. So SSB burst set, so it is nothing but it defines the maximum number of synchronization signal blocks within a particular burst set, and it will depend upon the frequency band. If the frequency range is up to 3 gigahertz, then the maximum number of SSB blocks in one SSB burst is 4. If the frequency is between 3 to 6 gigahertz, then it is 8. If the frequency is between 6 to 52.6 gigahertz, then the maximum number of SS blocks within SS burst is 64. So here we have the SS burst 0, 1 and so on, and the number of SS blocks will depend upon the frequency range. So SS burst can be and have a periodicity which can be configured. So for initial access, UE assumes a periodicity of 20 millisecond in 6 gigahertz or below 6 gigahertz or above 6 gigahertz. That means every 20 millisecond the SS block burst is going to repeat itself, right? So that is your periodicity of SS burst set.